This week on Dr. Drew After Dark, you've seen such behavior in the testes.
So my balls come out of my esophagus sometimes. I go so high. By the way, I just want to say real quick, you sound ripe for ISIS. This is what ISIS is looking for. Guys like you.
Does your dad have high blood pressure?
Oh, high blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah, so you
AIDS.
come by it honestly. That's it.
Yeah.
AIDS?
Probably.
Welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dr. After Dark. Keep those voice messages at 818-253-1693 and the email is at drafterdark@gmail.com. Appreciate you guys being here. And we've lately been asking you to sort of send in some videos if you want. We've got some medical videos set up. I don't think we're going to have them this week, but maybe next week.
We got some video questions.
And we've got video questions, and we've got videos, and we have the video questions that I just set up. We got them already.
We got some video questions.
Oh man, good for you. They're very interesting. So it's stuff I've answered on social media, but I want to kind of get into a little more about, the social media. I only have a few seconds to answer, get into more of it. And of course, we have live calls as well. And more importantly, we have Chris Distefano. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, baby. I got scumbag hair today, so I apologize.
Scumbag hair.
I got scumbag Staten Island hair. I pushed it back too much, and I apologize for that. I'm a better person than my hair leads on.
Did you put some Brill cream in there?
Yeah, dude. I was a real piece of shit this morning, and I apologize for that. And I'm wearing an Islanders jersey. I'm really scummy.
We accept your apology.
But I wouldn't trade places with you because you have diverticulitis, and I don't want that. I'd rather get a cock in the ass from Nadav. Again.
From the doctor.
No, from Nadav. Well, yeah.
From Nadav.
Nadav. If Nadav's sex name is the doctor, sure.
So you had anal sex with Chris, Nadav?
Yeah, it was great.
Yes, it was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was it, yeah.
Was it a live show or something that I missed? Why did I not know about this?
I mean, it was a show, but it was, we didn't stream it.
We did on your mom's house live. Nadav shit knishes into my mouth.
Drew, this is your chance, Drew.
It's sus. This is sus.
This is sus.
So I'm trying to be cool with the kids,
No, trust me, this is what your kids want to hear. This is what they hear on TikTok. They don't want to hear the bullshit call-ins. They want to say who's shitting in whose mouth.
With knishes.
They want me out here blowing Matt Rife.
So let me give the plugs first. So new TV show on Vice TV, Super Maximum Retro Show, also co-hosting Hey Babe podcast. And that's also on YouTube, is that right?
Yeah, the Hey Babe, YouTube, yeah.
That's Hey Babe. And then
where you get your podcast.
And then your podcast is Chrissy Chaos.
Chrissy Chaos.
On Patreon and YouTube also. And I didn't know you had so many kids, man.
3 kids, baby. I got 3 Puerto Rican kids. We all live on Staten Island. I've told the neighbors that they're Italian, dark skin. So we get in, and they're, it's a beautiful, beautiful life that I have. As a comic, it's good to have children because it takes me out of the kind of like this emotional roller coaster of comedy. It's like I do my stuff, and then I go home from work, and then I forget it. I don't care if I get something, don't get something. The show sells out, doesn't sell out. I'm not.
So people don't appreciate how much that weighs on performers, comedian performers particularly. But you guys come up in a world that people don't really get either.
Yeah, it's a whole subculture. Yeah. It's a whole underworld of comedy.
Did I'm Dying Up Here, did that reflect it a little bit?
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, like when I first had my first child, with some of the comics, like, how could you be having a kid right now? It's going to stall your career, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, the kid saved me. I'm like, I have a career now because of them, because it's almost like I apply less pressure on myself. And
you have different priorities.
Yeah, where I'm like, I'll listen to some of my friends, peers just like obsess about comedy, and it's almost like borderline like narcissistic, where I'm like, man, like the comedian is like the 4th thing about me as a human being.
Well, I want to get into that because you've had like 4 careers. Which it's just like, to me, that's I did not know that about you.
Yes,
and that is astonishing. But hang on. So it's almost like a battle with comedy. Not just it's narcissistic life if you're in a life or death battle, of course, narcissism will emerge, right? You're going to be worried about yourself, thinking about yourself. And think of the language views around comedy. I'm dying, or I killed.
Right.
One or the other.
Yeah.
You're either being dead or you killed everybody else.
Right, I bombed or I killed. Yeah, no, there's truth to that. And I think like anything else, like, it's just an adrenaline rush. We all like adrenaline junkies in a way. So it's just like the next phase of my life. But like, I'm one of those, like, I love doing comedy. It's sustained my family's way of life. Like I'm doing it, but I'm like, sometimes my friends call me Chrissy eras because I'm like always in it. Like there was a basketball era, then there was a physical therapy era, now this is the comedy era, and then it's like I just move on to something else. I don't know that I will with this because I feel so free.
Or you can go back. You could go back to physical therapy.
See, that the issue is I want to, I would, but the problem is when you get a taste of like what real like freedom is, doing what you love creatively.
No, I get it.
And I have not looked at a clock in 10 years, and every day of my life feels like a Sunday. To put me, even though it would be gratifying to help people out, to put me in a space where I can't leave and I have a set number of patience to do.
That you got to mow through. You got to do it.
I don't know that I could do that. Maybe I could do it once a week, but I don't know that I could go back to that.
I would argue the reason you have such an appreciation for your creative freedom is because you did do that work.
Oh, yeah.
So you know the difference between work and what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Which is work. I mean, and stressful, but it's not that.
No, it's not that. And it's like,
but you have a doctorate of physical therapy.
I do.
That's as high in the world of physical therapy.
For physical therapy, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm proud of it. But
did you specialize in a certain area?
Pediatrics. I was a pediatric, so I worked, mentally, physically handicapped kids, did all that, and that was a beautiful thing. And it was gratifying to help them, to get a kid up out of their wheelchair for the first time, to have them take one step. All that stuff is beautiful. But I, ultimately want to do this, and but I still, donate my time there.
Well, I was going to say, what happens? I've been across the lifespan with people that are successful. Many, I'm old enough now, I've seen things happen. And what happens eventually, as you continue to have success, you'll eventually go, I need more meaning or something. And that's always from kind of one-on-one helping another human. And when you have a skill and a wisdom around it, you have something to offer.
Right.
And so you can always go back to that anytime to sort of fill that piece out if you need it.
Yeah, I feel like I will say, like, when you kill on stage or whatever, it's a beautiful feeling and it's great. But there is a part of me, even now, though I'm happy to do it and I love doing it, I am like, there's a little bit of like even narcissism in that, where it's like these people cheering for me and clap, and it feels good, but I'm like, I don't know if the karmic energy attached to this is positive or negative. I'm not sure. Whereas when you help a child take a step, you're like, this is nothing but good. This is nothing good. It makes me feel better.
One is fulfillment and nourishment, and the other is just high.
Right, that's what it is,
and that's okay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it and you need the next high too.
Right.
The fulfillment is much more nourishing.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I still practice medicine. I can't not do it.
Really,
I can't not do it.
How often do you do it?
I do it every day because I have patients I got to call and whatever. In fact, I can make a call as soon as we get out of here. But I go in and see people 1 or 2 days a week.
But rest your diverticulitis.
Thank you.
Don't overdo it.
It's good times.
What is it? Little holes in the intestine?
Let's look it up here, my friend.
I want to talk about
Nadav. Yeah, I know you want to.
Yeah, Tom's jerking off to this.
No, Nadav had a diverticular abscess. Had to be rushed off to surgery when he was a young man.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay, give it the pictures over there. All fine.
What does it feel like?
Like you're dying?
The way I had it was I would just get I was sick. Like I'd get like a fever once every month, and then it became once every other week, and then it became every week, and then it was just always fever.
Did you feel stomach pain and all that all the time?
I didn't feel. No, I just felt like it felt like I had like a very severe cold every couple days.
Weak and kind of out of it.
And that's how you feel now.
A little bit. I have it pretty under control. This is the first attack I've had in about a year. But there are the pouches that get filled with
what
debris.
Sets it off?
Nobody really knows. There's some theories now that the rectal pressures are off as you get older, and that sort of allows that to develop. And so I've been combating that with things that increase the pressure down there. It's really worked.
Right.
Really,
so
really
like
worked.
Kegels and stuff?
No. Something called Ducalax. Bicicodal medicine to increase
medicine.
The force
increase
of contraction.
That rectal pressure.
Rectal pressure?
Did you say rectal pressure?
You said a rectal pressure, I thought. But yes, rectal pressure.
I thought you said rectal pressure or rectal pressure, same thing.
Madison Square Garden Theater before we let off here.
Where your daughter graduated from.
Her graduation from Barnard was in that theater that you're going to be performing in.
Right. It's the theater at Madison Square Garden. It's under the garden. Still a big room, but that's
it's huge. I didn't realize how huge it is. 6,000 people. It's
I had radio.
Buy the tickets.
Buy the tickets. Damn it, ChristyComedy.com. Radio City Music Hall the day before sold out, so we headed that one.
Is that the first time you performed there?
In Radio City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be a big deal for someone who grew up in New York. Yeah.
That's the thing. For me, I really only had ever 2 goals doing this comedy thing. I always wanted to get to Madison Square Garden and sell at Madison Square Garden. So hopefully this brings me closer to that, and then have a sitcom about my father. That's always what that's why I started. I was never, a lot of my peers, they know the history of comedy. They grew up watching the monologues. They saw all George Carlin specials and Pryor and this. I don't know any of it. I started, I loved Everybody Loves Raymond. Used to watch it with my family. I was like, that's what I want to do one day.
So that's where it started.
That's where it started for me. And then
comedic acting you wanted to do, really.
Yeah, but now I don't. Now it's just like you fall in love. I think what happened was it was simply, it was like adrenaline. It was like the dopamine hit where I was like, I was playing basketball, college basketball. I loved it, looking forward to it every day, 1,000 jump shots a day, giving my whole life to basketball. And then basketball stopped. I went into physical therapy.
Fully engaged.
Whole life, fully engaged, studying. I had a 2.1 GPA in undergrad and then a 3.9 in a doctorate level program. So it's like, why? Because I was applying myself in one, and that, what my mother was saying since I was a kid. She's like, you're not applying yourself. I was like, yes, I am. I'm retarded.
Doing the best I can, Mom. Oh, look, is that you? No, yes.
It's Chris Mullen. But yeah, that's me. That's me running to the steps on January 6th. But then what happened was just I found comedy, and then that adrenaline rush.
What happened? How'd you find it?
Well, I always wanted to do it. I always was being told, like I remember this moment when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I'm walking down the street with my mom, and I said to her, well, like, what is my talent? What do you think it is? And I wanted her so badly to say basketball. I was like, say basketball. Like, that's what I want, because I want to be a basketball player. And she was like, it's your sense of humor. That's what your real gift is, sense of humor. And I remember being angry with her back then. I was like, you don't understand me. And, it's basketball. Look at my jump shot. And then throughout my whole life, that's what I would hear is, oh, the funny guy, Chris, class clown, most likely to be comedian in yearbook. And I kind of never really thought that about myself. I was like, for me, comedy was always, it started as a defense mechanism because my parents were divorced. So my father would call me every day, and I would get really emotional because I missed him, and I would, actually start, my mom would be like, honey, daddy's on the phone, and I would start to cry immediately, because I was like, oh. So then what I would do, just kind of reactively, instinctively, I just was like, all right, let me take like a breath. I'd be like, okay, Mom, I'm coming in 1 minute. And I would be like, I'm just getting something ready for Dad. And it was all to stop the crying and then think of a joke, think of something funny to tell my dad. At that time, it's little kid jokes, corny, but that's what I would do.
Was he a funny guy?
Funny guy.
Yeah.
And that was my defense mechanism.
It was a way of communing with him, connecting to him.
And then it's really on 9/11 is when I really was like, okay, maybe I should start to think about this. I didn't wind up not getting on stage for another close to 8 years, but I remember 9/11 happened, like the actual day. I got into a big fight.
It affected you that way because you thought you're just reevaluating your whole life at that point? Is that what you're...
Well, no. This guidance counselor, Brother Regis, shout out Brother Regis. He was like, very like he was like it was an all boy Catholic high school. He was, a great guy, very very smart guy. Would talk to us all the time, like kind of raise us to be men, and he. And so 9/11 happened and got into this big fight, and then they sent all the kids.
You got in a big fight?
I got into a big fight.
Like with
broke
peers?
a chair over somebody's head because I started crying immediately. I started to hysterical cry because I knew my mom worked in the second tower.
Oh my God.
She survived, but at the time, you don't know.
Of course.
And my emotions tipped. I was on steroids, but my emotions tipped.
Well, okay.
And I hit, that's shout out Winstrol. But anyway, the emotions did tip. And so I hit this kid, started laughing at me, hit him over the head with a chair, whole big story. And then what happens is they sent all the kids because I was eventually going to go on to like almost get expelled from the school, but in this hour where there's just confusion, they sent all the kids who believed that one of their parents was affected into the library. They sent us all, that was like their kind of a trauma plan.
Yeah.
Kids being emotional. So there was like 20 of us in the library, all, trying to figure out where's our moms, where's our dads, where's our brothers, whatever. So we're all in there. And I'm emotional, and then I saw like all these other kids like crying or whatever, and my instinct was, let me try to make everybody laugh. So I was not thinking about it. I was just starting to be silly. I was starting to get dark. I was starting to do dumb shit, and it started working. People were laughing. We were being silly. Not everybody, but we were being silly. And the brother Regis was in there. And again, didn't say anything to me, nothing. And then a couple of weeks go by. They start to call people's parents in, to talk about what happened. Do we need more therapy? Do we need, this is 2001. So like mental health is around, but it's not like that big of a deal. Like nowadays it'd be mental health. They'd be all over the mental health of the kids. But back then it's kind of like, just suck it up and everybody's fine and move on. But kids
are resilient.
Kids are resilient, all that. So they were, and Brother Regis said to my mom and dad, well, really just my mom. My dad wasn't allowed back in school. It's a whole thing. If you Google Chris Distefano 9/11 story, it's just I tell the whole story. My dad just almost threatened to kill the principal. It's a whole big thing. But
we do need a sitcom about your dad.
Yes. Oh, it's Well, tell Jimmy Kimmel that. And so Brother Regis says, to my mom, she goes, your son has like a real gift. Like he immediately, in this time of crisis, started to, try to make people laugh. And he turned on a charm that I really haven't seen. He was like, so I think he should be a lawyer. I think he should. He was like, I think he can convince a jury whether his client's guilty or anything. I think he can sway a jury one way.
Isn't that interesting?
Charming. He said, or he should do comedy.
Oh.
And then she was like, he'll be a lawyer, because she doesn't want me to do comedy. But that's when I started to think about like, oh, wow, maybe I do. Because then
it still must have been another 10 years.
10 years because I was like, because it's one of those things where I always, in school, went to high school, went to college, got my doctorate, graduate school. And my mom was always like, listen, I have zero issue with you trying to go for what you want. That's what you should do.
But
she's
first
like,
have a profession.
Right. She was like, but you can live in this house, like live in, my mom's house. I lived there till I was 27.
Yeah.
She was like, as long as you're going to school, you can stay here. Yeah. I just want you to have an education. So once I got my doctorate degree, she kind of knew that I wasn't going to stay in that field for long because I had like this desire to at least try to do comedy.
How long were you in it?
I was a physical therapist for 3 years.
3 years. And then where was your first stand-up?
So my first stand-up was at this place called the Maui Taco. Fucking crazy, bombed. It was wild. But my friends were there. My still core group of friends back then are still my same crew today. And they were all there at the Maui Taco. And then what happened was one thing started to lead to another. And I got on this show called Guy Code, which became very popular among like the high school and college kids on MTV.
Yeah.
And, as you know, like a lot of people think, older women are the ones that have high risk of giving, birth to children with birth defects. And that's true. But also very young women don't have the proper prenatal care. So you might have a 16, 15-year-old who is not doing, they don't know. And they're kids. And then so they give birth to a child with a disability. And those are most of the kids that I treated, their parents were younger, not older. And, came from, pretty poor economic backgrounds of the kids I worked with. And I remember, Guy Code and the show was for the youth. So a lot of the moms and dads of the kids I was treating were recognizing me from the MTV show that they watched the night before.
Interesting.
And the principal of the school is like, listen, you can't moonlight. You can't do both. Either you do this or you do that. She was like, I watched the program, and the one episode she watched was a segment about me. I did the Guy Code to hiding your boner. So I did all these ways to hide your boner. And that's the episode she saw.
Perfect.
So she was like,
by the way, she's full of shit, by the way. She's full of shit. You obviously could do both. You were doing both. I had the same exact thing happen to me when I was a resident.
Really?
Not that they couldn't do both, but what's wrong with you? Why would you even contemplate this kind of thing?
Right.
And it was in the AIDS pandemic, and I was motivated to educate about AIDS.
Wow.
And they were like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? You're going to be fired if you do this anymore.
Yeah. And so
they're full of shit.
Full of shit. But it was a good lesson because she was, and she wasn't, if you talk to her, she would be like, I wasn't, I was just trying to give you the best advice.
That's what my dude told me. I was just trying to save you from your career.
Right.
You were going to ruin your career.
Right.
No. You know what it is? It's don't question young people when they're doing stuff. Let them do it. Let them just do it. They'll figure it out.
Well, that's why now having kids, I'm like, hey, I want them to go for whatever it is they go for. I do like the idea of my mom pushing me to be like, hey, you have this education fallback plan is nice.
You always have that. And you had the experience of doing this work, which make you appreciate everything else you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell immediately when people have worked in the world versus been performing their whole life. It's a different
thing.
It's a different thing.
It's also I'm happy that it's taken, I'm really only now, I've been doing it since 2009 and really only now am I starting to really know, like I'll go to a city and all the tickets would be sold. I can sell theaters, and it's only now, but I'm happy that it's taken this long because I don't want to lose it now.
We're planning a trip to France this August, and if you or your travel companion does not speak French, I have a perfect travel hack for you. Babbel, the go-to language learning app. Just like Susan, my wife, who's joining me for our 33rd wedding anniversary on this adventure, you too can brush up on your language skills before you go. And I think you have an obligation to learn a language in the country when you show up. Of course, Babbel is the language learning app that has sold more than 10 million subscriptions. It's addictively fun, easy bite-sized lessons. Susan has been using it. I found her using it this morning, and I tried to give her a couple tips. She waved me off because Babbel had it all. With just 10 minutes a day, you can complete a lesson and start having real-life conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel's expertly crafted lessons are built around real life. Learn how to have practical conversations about getting around and travel and ordering food. Unlike other language learning apps that use artificial intelligence, Babbel's lessons were created by over 150 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. It's like having your own personal language coach. If you're worried about making the right choice, do not be. Babbel's got you covered. Comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee, so you can embark on your language learning journey risk-free. If you're ready to start learning a new language, right now you can get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/Drew. That is babbel.com/Drew for up to 55% off your subscription. Do not let language barriers hold you back from fully experiencing your travel and the world. Choose Babbel. Language for life. This episode of After Dark is sponsored by BetterHelp, and you spend a lot of time on other people in a given week, but not much on yourself. It's easy to get caught up in everyone else's need, but if you don't take a moment to refuel, you can feel depleted. We live in a world where we are pulled in all kinds of different directions, but it's crucial to remember that self-care, self-reflection, important. I mean, I'm that guy. That's where therapy comes in, provides us tools to find balance in our lives so we can continue supporting others without leaving ourselves behind. It's like having, fighters have someone in their corner. That's what you need. Empowering us to become the best version of ourselves, regardless of whether you've experienced major trauma or not. Of course, I'm a big advocate of therapy. I've been a patient in therapy, and I've helped people through therapy as a practitioner. It's instrumental for me. And if you're considering starting therapy, I recommend giving BetterHelp a try. With BetterHelp, therapy becomes accessible. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, tailored to your schedule. No need to worry about finding or commuting or fitting appointments into a busy day. They got you covered. Getting started is simple. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist who suits your specific needs. And the best part, if you ever feel the need to switch, you can do so for no additional charge. BetterHelp is committed to ensuring you find the right fit for your therapy. Take a step towards finding more balance in your life with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/afterdark today and receive 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/afterdark. Do not wait. Prioritize your well-being and yourself today.
You mentioned that you were most likely to become a comic in the yearbook.
That's what they said in high school.
In the yearbooks now, you're not allowed to have categories anymore.
Really?
That's all done.
Wow.
Why? At least in the West. Because it's discriminatory and whatever the hell. Who knows what? It's not equitable.
Yeah.
So
it is getting insane, right? It is, even if you are and because I think like politically, whatever you are, left, right, I don't think that it's whatever you want to do, I get it. But it's like, it does feel like they are pushing, and by they, I actually don't even know who I mean, because I think it's both sides.
Coming from, yeah.
Right. It's like you are pushing into like anarchy. Like it is becoming now so outrageous that even I just had one of my daughters goes to an all-girl school, and we had the daddy-daughter dance, and she's young, she's second grade, so I was like, this is great, the school's having this daddy-daughter dance, whatever, and then the principal was like, yeah, this is the first one we've had in 5 years. I was like, what? She was like, well, we had the pandemic, but before that, you really weren't allowed to do the daddy-daughter dance. We caught a lot of protests, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, it's not fair to who? To people who don't have daddies that identify as daddies, or daughters that feel they're in different bodies. I'm like, good for them.
They can still
come.
be a part of it. Yeah.
Good. Why are you taking this away from me?
Right. That's the thing. Everyone else is getting put under the thumb.
Yeah.
And I was talking to, I forget what I was talking the other day, but when we were young, we were interested in having a good time.
Yeah.
Enjoying ourselves and socializing.
Yeah.
That's been washed out. And that's starting to come back. Well, what
I will say, that what I'm noticing, because I also have a 12-year-old stepson, and he you would think 12 going on 13, he's going to want to be on social media. He doesn't want, he sees like the negativity of the phone.
Oh my God.
He's not addicted to it at all.
Good.
He's like, I don't want any of that. And I was like, why don't you want a social media? I swear to God, he goes, because I see what it does to you and mom. I was like, whoa, that's pretty powerful. And I was like, you're right. He was like, you guys are like zombies on that thing. I was like, holy, but that actually gave me like a hope, because I was like, hopefully him and his friends, they don't want, he was riding his bike the other day, and we as the parents were like, wow, look at like a group of kids riding bikes. You don't see that anymore. And it's like, what a sick world that we live in. You don't see that anymore.
Yes, bring it back. Bring it local, small, interpersonal.
I want to go all the way back to the 1700s rules. Let's start fucking burning people at the stake.
No, let's leave that part out. But one last thing. Let me look through some of the calls here. Here we go. Last time I think I talked to you, I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you were Nikki Glazer's go-to.
Yes, and I got the answer right.
And then did she use your?
No, I don't think she did. She didn't trust me.
You know, she had an obsession with you at one point. Are you aware of that?
Oh yeah. So are the police.
It's not inappropriate.
No. I love Nikki.
Yeah,
Nikki.
she's the best.
I was obsessed with her too. But you know,
why isn't she ever on this? She hasn't been on this show ever.
Nikki's great.
Whenever
Annoying.
there's overlap for when she's
I think she
here,
lives in
definitely.
St. Louis now, right?
Yeah.
She was with her parents, and that's where she grew up.
Yeah.
And she was with her parents there, and then got to like it.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I like that she's over there.
Exceptional person.
Yeah.
All right, let's take some calls here. This is Kevin. Kevin, what's going on, man?
What's up, Dr. Drew, baby?
What's up, man?
I was just chilling, calling to ask a question I haven't heard on the show before.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we'll get straight to it, man. So sometimes, when I'm becoming intimate with a woman or myself, my balls kind of go up, like, inside of my stomach. They, like, leave the sack. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Ever heard anything like that?
Oh yeah, it's very common. Chris is looking knowingly at me. You've seen such behavior in the testes.
So my balls come out of my esophagus sometimes. They go so high.
So they,
that Chrissy D?
That's it, baby, Chrissy D.
So they roll up into
What's going on? Oh man, I got two doctors here.
That's right.
It's true.
That's right.
Absolutely true, my friend. Well done. So it actually rolls into the inguinal canal. Right? There's like a potential space there.
Into my anal canal?
No, your inguinal canal. They're right where your testes start in your back. They start where the ovaries start, and they come down and descend into the sac when you're developing.
You're blowing my fucking mind right now, Doc.
And some people have a sort of a path left behind that the testes can roll back into. And show me the inguinal canal, Caleb. Nadav. Caleb is
I'm calling him Caleb from now on.
Yes.
Pull it up, Nadav.
Diverticulitis fucks me up, man.
Damn. Nice spelling, Nadav.
Thank you, Chris.
Nailed it.
So you can take that one of the second row, second one in. That one. Yeah. So you can see how there's the testes sort of sits in that canal. It can go up in the inguinal. That's where hernias happen. But hernias happen when the bowel comes down into the inguinal canal.
Right.
Testes can roll up. The problem is if you are vigorous in your sexual activity, or if it's female on top, she can come right down and smash your testes because it's kind of up against the pelvis there.
But it is better being a boy. One time I was a physical therapist working with adults, and I had a female patient come in with a rectal prolapse. With her fucking rectum was coming out through her vagina. That was fun.
Oh, that's different. That's that's a sort of a sure was a rectum and not a uterus.
Oh, uterine prolapse. I'm sorry. That was coming out of.
That happens when you if you live old enough as a woman, you pretty much get that.
Yeah, she looked trans.
I'm trying to follow.
Well, I'm just saying because it's something coming out of the,
I see.
Out of the vagina. It looked like a
pee-pee.
She looked like a hermaphrodite.
And that's her cervix.
That was her cervix coming out.
Go ahead. Let's see a uterine prolapse. It happens a lot.
I know. Yeah, let's see a uterine prolapse. Let's get ready to explode.
Don't cut to this, any.
Yeah. This should be on your mom's house live.
Oh, of course. We'll actually bring somebody in with has that.
Yeah, that's all right.
There it is. That second row, third one in.
Yeah.
That's what you saw. Right?
Yeah, it was wild. I saw a big one.
And was it a younger person?
No. She was like 70 something.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Particularly if you have
cough,
babies.
you'll cough and your uterus will come out of your snatch.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true. So anyway, You're good, my friend. Don't worry about it. Be careful. Don't smash the balls. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying.
it, baby.
Be careful. This can be interesting. This is Tony. It's a little more serious.
Is this my dad? Oh,
maybe. His name's Tony?
my dad's name's Tony. Tampa Tony.
Hi, Tony. He's from Ohio, though.
First name's Tony. Hi.
Yeah, it's Drew and Chris
on call today.
Distefano.
Chris Distefano, baby.
Tony, go ahead.
How are you gentlemen doing? Good?
We're really good. How are you?
Keep it short.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fantastic.
What do you got?
So I grew up relatively quickly without my father around, and I'm kind of finding myself putting on a facade of what I think a man is supposed to be, and I'm trying to find a source of guidance, but I don't really align with any sort of religious or spiritual. And I don't know where to look for guidance or structure.
What happened? What happened with your dad? What's the story there?
By the way, I just want to say real quick, you sound ripe for ISIS. This is what ISIS is looking for. Guys like you.
Well, that's what can happen.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
If they're taking whites, I'll go ahead and.
Yeah, Jihadi John.
So what happened with your dad?
He's an alcoholic. Yeah, alcoholic. We left him when I was very young, moved around a lot, and he's in this place of he doesn't think he can do better, you know?
He's still drinking.
Doesn't have any faith in himself.
He's still drinking.
Yeah.
So he needs his alcoholism treated. He has an
Right.
illness, and it makes him feel bad, of course.
Yeah.
And so he uses that as justification to continue using. But there's always a reason to continue using. So that's sad. He's a sick person. I mean, you can kind of intellectualize it as having had a sick father, not just an abandoning father.
Right.
But when you're a little kid, it's hard to get. You still have all those injuries left behind. Have you had any therapy?
No, I have not.
Because you would really benefit. It would not take long to sort of help you form the kind of attachments and look at the residual of having a dad that was abandoning and sick. How are your relationships generally?
I find it's kind of hard to
Trust.
maintain a level of honesty, in its full extent.
Mm-hmm. So you can't be vulnerable, can't be intimate, can't be trusting, because you expect people to leave or mistreat you.
Yeah, I mean, I find like I can never put my full trust into anyone or anything besides myself, I feel like.
Right. So that's all from the abandonment, right? Those are abandonment issues, and those can be easily treated in therapy. That's different than I think what your opening question was, which is sort of how to get male guidance, how to get male influence in your life. Isn't that sort of what you're looking for to begin with?
Yeah, just, the structure of how to be.
Yeah.
Essentially, 'cause I just put on this facade of what I think a man is supposed to be.
Yeah. Chris, thoughts?
I would start a relationship with AI. I would start talking to ChatGPT.
No. My God, no.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think honestly, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, so you're a young guy. Yet I think
Young buck.
You're a young buck. You're a young biological male, I'm assuming. And
that's what they call it.
That's right. I think, first of all, you have a circumstance, alcoholic father. So I get it. There's things, but at 21, a lot of us are kind of looking at that age for, some type of guidance. What do you want to do? The religious thing. I was raised I was brought up extremely Catholic, like hardcore Catholic. And it was around 21, 22 where I was like, wait a second. What the hell? I don't want to do this. I'm doing what my parents wanted me to do. What do I want to do? And then it became like a crisis in my mind. And
yet you've mentioned more than a couple of times that father at the school, the gentleman that was sort of counseling you.
Yes.
I mean, there was a male figure that figured significantly, even though he was not there at the time.
Yeah. So that's a good point where it's like, you can, our biological fathers, yes, they bring us into the world, but there are other people that can guide us, father figures and all that. So
exactly.
But yeah, I think everything's fine. Right? Therapy will help. You need therapy. You need to seek it out.
The reason you're saying that is that Tony feels fine. You can tell he's okay. He's put together, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not worried about Tony. He's going to figure his shit out.
It's almost,
and that's kind of what happens in life too. It's almost like what?
No. Well, I was going to say, like, I mean, I'm just listening to him, so obviously, you don't know. I mean, he could, I don't know what he could be, butt naked standing at the edge of the Golden Gate Bridge. I have no idea, but he sounds good. And so that's with physical therapy. Like, people would come in and be like, I'd be like, what pain are you in? And they'd be like, 10 out of 10. I'd be like, you're not. 10 out of 10 pain is like, you can't even shower because of the pain. Like, you are
move.
crawling because of the pain. Yeah. So our brains do a good job of being like, telling us we're way worse than we actually are. It would take somebody, and that's therapy, to be like, hey, like, there's a lot of people, there's a full waiting room of people with very similar issues to what you have. Because I think you tend to feel alone.
That's right. And if you notice, I said it could be managed very quickly.
Very quickly.
He could get, sort of engaged in a closeness, and in that close setting with another person, preferably a male. You could start to look at what went wrong and have those feelings and process them and metabolize them, and that's the end of it. And that will help you then. I think there's more going on in your interpersonal life than you realize. It feels like I need more male guidance because you're putting this facade on of maleness, but I think it's more about who you are and fully present in a close connection with another human. I think.
And by the way, if you're struggling with your sexuality, join the club. I mean, literally, you just come to Austin, baby. You come to your Mom's House Studios, and you will find many of us living in what we like to call the gray zone.
Jerry, is she single?
TiTi Jerry? TiTi Jerry is single, but TiTi Jerry is single. But the only problem with TiTi Jerry is that, you think you're going to therapy, and then you're smoking crack. That's the issue.
What's TiTi Jerry?
Well, that's a good way to phrase it. What's TiTi Jerry?
Who is TiTi Jerry?
What's TiTi Jerry is more
Uncle TiTi Jerry?
Well, TiTi Jerry is the mother of my children, my girlfriend's transgender uncle, who served 20 years in prison, went in as a man, came out as a woman, and now I have a transgender person in my life, TiTi Jerry, who lives in the guest room, who is the children's nanny, is the caregiver, and she's just it's a great person to, I wish that the United States had like some type of program where you could almost like go, like, get to know a convict, get to know, like in a safe way, like get to experience and talk to someone who's been incarcerated for 15 years. Because a lot of times, like, we're like, I'm in a mental prison, or I have, you talk to someone who genuinely was in a prison, and they very quickly, you realize most of our problems are not as significant as we think they are. Like going into solitary confinement for a week and having to eat worms out of the mud because the guards are punishing you. Those are real issues. Like, those are and I'm not minimizing. I'm not minimizing people's problems.
I need to start talking to these people at the low-income housing that I work at.
Yes,
that would,
talk to them.
That, and it just occurs to me also, Tony, have you thought about military maybe? Because sometimes that helps with this kind of stuff.
I did. I genuinely considered it.
Yeah.
I want you to start actively hating the Chinese. Because that's who we're going to war with.
Myocarditis and all that.
Start chanting, I hate China. That'll make you feel better.
You were worried about the vaccine? Is that what you said?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's probably going to be less of an issue going forward. So,
less of an issue.
As they don't require these things.
Look at Dr. Drew's. He's got 8 boosters and diverticulitis. He's doing fine.
Yeah. No, I got the original vaccine and no boosters.
No, same with me. No boosters.
Yeah, I've had COVID several times. Me and my immunity is for real with that. Yeah. And now I go around Omicron. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I've been around it multiple times. Yeah. I'm not aware that I've contracted anything. Yeah. But that was interesting. So TiTi Jerry, right?
TiTi Jerry.
So there's and TiTi Jerry is
on estrogen therapy now, like a transition. She still has a penis, but she has tits.
Okay, and she's very. I'm trying to use language that doesn't become.
She loves Bud Light.
That's funny. But what I've noticed is that when my profession helps people transition, when they pick the right person for the right interventions,
right,
it's perfectly. I mean, that's the other kind of person you should be around. People are transgendered and are just properly, just well transitioned. Yeah, they're well cared for. It's like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's when maybe people are being given stuff by doctors that are not. I don't know that it's right for them yet. Then if they pick the right person, the doctors.
It's interesting. Jerry has, and again, it's just one person's opinion. I'm not saying this is a blanket statement, but Jerry's opinion is, she was like, it's just weird to me. She's like, right? Jerry's like, listen, I have no education. She's like, third grade. I think she stopped going to school in the 5th or 6th grade. She was like, I know I'm not the smartest person. She's very street smart, but she was like, I just go by what I see. She's like, when I went into prison, in I think it was 1995. She's like, when I went into prison in 1995 or 1996, she was like, I was the only trans person in the wing.
Oh, was she trans before she went to prison?
She went in as trans, yeah.
Oh,
she wasn't like getting therapy yet, but she was like, hair, wigs, and then they started giving her, we started to move forward in society, they started giving her estrogen therapy in prison, but she was like, I was the only one. She goes, by the time I got out of prison in 2020, she was like, I was in an entire wing of trans inmates. Now she was like, to me, it was like, are all of a sudden the trans people all became criminals? She was like, I just think that you normalized being trans. And she was like, I don't know if it's people who, okay, now being trans is okay. I see a lot of people doing it. I've always felt that way. Or she was like, or is it like how like one of her brother, she was like, her brother Ed, she's like, like my brother Ed, like to piss off my mom, he would put on black lipstick and be goth. She was like, I wonder if it's just like people pissing off their parents, or are all these people actually trans and she was like, I don't know.
Or it's trying to solve something for that individual, whether it's piss off the parent or some other internal solution, and not genuinely what Jerry is.
She told me, and Jerry told me, she was like, I know I'm trans. She was like, I was 5 years old, and she was like, she told me she asked Santa Claus one year for a pussy. That's what she asked for. So
where is that Santa Claus now?
I know. So I remember that was like, she asked it. So she was like, I always knew it. She's like, I just hope that the kids who do it really are sure. I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I completely understand that, and I worry that my profession isn't getting it right. Because they're just doing surgeries and stuff. And it's like, you better get the right person. These are major medical interventions. Make sure it's a TiTi Jerry. What's your name?
TiTi Jerry. You can call it TiTi Jerry.
TiTi Jerry.
It's on your mind, baby.
Maybe it's TiTi Jerry and not somebody that TiTi Jerry saw on the wing of the facility. So it's really a challenging kind of situation.
Yeah, it's tough.
Of course, I understand the importance of hydration for health and well-being. It's not just for athletes and those in intense physical activities, though certainly I wish I had it out in the Wadi Rum Desert. It would have saved me, that's for sure. It's crucial in our daily lives, supports our body's daily maintenance needs. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Their hydration multiplier is the missing piece in your daily routine. Start it. Start your day off with it. Use it before a workout. Rely on it when you feel run down in the afternoon. Perhaps or a night out with friends or during long flights, hydration is a key thing. With just one stick, you can hydrate your body twice as fast as water alone. As I always say, you need solute. You need something more than water. Also, you get some essential vitamins and 3 times the electrolytes compared to leading sports drinks. Liquid IV is convenient, the packaging is great, and the variety of flavors, sea berry, strawberry lemonade, tropical punch, watermelon, strawberry, keep my hydration routine exciting because the taste is just great. So hydration, flavor, results. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco. Alternatively, you can visit liquidiv.com and use code Dr. Drew at checkout to get 20% off. That is right, 20% off anything when you prioritize better hydration today using promo code Dr. Drew at liquidiv.com. Choose Liquid IV and take the first step towards hydration and supporting your health.
Andrew, what's going on, my friend? This is an oldie but a goodie here, gentlemen. Old question. You got me and Chris Distefano.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, this one's really bothered me for a long time. It's like keep me up at night, to be honest. But does poop push the farts now, or does fart push the poop now?
This is, I think, when I first met Christina P., this was her question for me. This is an old question.
That's a Christina P. question right there,
it preoccupies the Your Mom House world for years.
Yeah, and they've made millions off that.
And that's actually true.
I honestly I haven't heard this said before. But,
it's been a while. It's been a while. So I will tell you that they are sort of independent processes.
Okay.
They aren't really. I mean, obviously, if you push the poo out, farts will come. Right. But the gas is it's whatever you're pushing. When you're pushing, you can push fart out or you can push poo out. You can push them both out.
Okay.
But they are not really affecting each other in terms of maybe give you a feeling that something needs to come out, and you can kind of tell whether it's a fart or poo. Sometimes you get that wrong.
Sure.
Everyone's done that.
You gamble and you lose.
That's right. Did that on a plane once.
I never agreed with. Sorry to interrupt. I never agree with when say you're farting. People are like, "Well, you need to poop," and I'm like,
No, No, my wife. My wife is big on that philosophy, and I keep telling her that the dog will start farting, and she goes, "He needs to go out." It's like, no, he shit 5 minutes ago. It's just dog's fart.
Getting some gas out.
So there's two kinds of gas too. One is the air you swallow, and that is sort of not the smelly part. And then there's the part of gas produced by the bacteria in your colon, the methane, and that's the bad part. That's the stinky part.
Got it.
And then some of it, and the poo cannot be resorbed, but the gas can kind of be resorbed a little bit.
Right.
It can kind of go back in and disappear or dissipate or come back out later.
Can I ask a poop question? Actually,
of course.
With the
it's
poop,
your mom's house.
What I know that you want it S-shaped, right? That's the healthiest.
Let's get the what's that scale up? The poop scale. I can forget the name of it.
Because I think I'm almost right.
Yeah, I like
S-shaped because it followed like the colon,
the
tract,
sigmoid colon. That's sort of a.
Is that an old wives' tale, or is that true? There's truth to that.
Here's the scale, the Bristol stool chart.
Okay. But the question with that is, do you want it to sink to the bottom? Is that the best?
Oh my God! This is okay. That one and the second one, yeah. So you see, those are the good versus not so good.
Yeah. Can you just make it a little bigger?
You want sort of the type.
You want type
4 or 5, I think we're looking at.
Okay, I see it now. There we go.
Yeah. Type 4 is sort of normal. Type 5 is normal. Type 3, rather. Type 3 and 4 is sort of where you want to be.
Right.
See, where it says normal. And you see how the type 4 is, because it's softer, is sort of S-shaped.
Got it.
But if you're a little harder, it doesn't take the S, and that's still normal.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
And what was the question? I'm sorry. Andrew, did you ask something, or did Chris ask something I screwed up?
No,
if it sunk to the bottom.
I really appreciated it.
All right. So
yeah, I prefer a floater, but
is that better though, or is that just too much fat in your diet?
Fat. It just means fat. It doesn't really mean anything.
But sinking to the bottom is at the most optimal.
I'm not sure anybody's ever made anything of that. Like, there's a Bristol stool chart. There's not a floating sinking.
You want to
chart.
take a type 3, type 4 shit.
Yeah, 3, 4, and those are going to.
I'm going to send pics. This is a 3, 4.
And most of those are not going to float.
Got it.
Right? They're dense.
They're going to sink.
They're dense.
Okay. Because I don't get too many sinkers. I get a lot of floaters.
Yeah, maybe eating a lot of fat in your diet, huh?
Yeah, you fatty piece of shit. No, I've been doing intermittent fasting. I lost 35 pounds.
Really? Good for you.
And I'm on losartan. You were the one that told me to be on a low dose of blood pressure last time I saw you, and I.
Where were we? I can't remember last time we saw each other.
I think it was in Adam Carolla's studio.
That's
still in LA.
Yes.
Yeah, and you were like, hey, your blood pressure's too high for your age. Just take a low dose. I think I'm on 50 milligrams of losartan now. And most of the time, sometimes I still get the white coat hypertension, and it'll be 145 over 85, but then 5 minutes later, it's 120 over 80.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And I cannot emphasize enough the damage that elevated blood. People get all kinds of crazy notions about what high blood pressure is. It's a stiffness in the arteries as you get older, and it's a miscommunication between the kidneys and the right atrium that just sets the pressure a little bit above where it should be, and then stays there and damages the shit out of the vessels in your brain, kidney, and heart.
And as time goes on,
you will inevitably get in trouble. And and it's so simple to bring it down. I take the same medication. It's just a nothing. And it's
are you always 120 over 80 first shot?
I'm like, my thing is 130 over 75. That's sort of where I am.
You're always you're never in the 150s anymore. Never. Even
nothing.
Yeah.
I worry about the 130 even these days. Back in the day we would accept 140, 150, and we've gotten more aggressive about this because the meds are so good. So I'm actually, as I've gotten older, I've upped the dose, added a second medicine, slowly.
I know that the doctor was saying, like, I'm on the 50 milligrams of losartan, and she's fine with it. She's like, but 6 months from now, if we still get that first reading at 140 over 80, she's like, I think I'm just going to up it a little bit.
You're still on
she's like,
dose.
I'm so happy that you come down. She's like, I think you have a stressful mind, but she was like, she's really preaching like meditation too.
I'm sure.
Like, listen, I'm taking type 3 shits.
Does your dad have high blood pressure?
Oh, high blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah, so you AIDS. Come by it honestly. That's it.
Yeah.
AIDS?
Probably.
What are we going to have the sitcom? What's it going to be called?
AIDS with Chris Distefano.
Speaking of Chris Distefano, we're going to talk with, I think this guy has a question for Chris. Josh. What's going on, Josh?
Hi, how you doing?
We're
how you
good.
guys doing today?
Hey, Josh.
Me and Chris Distefano.
How you doing, Chris? I just actually had a question about your navigation of social media. I know you gave control of your socials to a kind gentleman who looks like Lancelot.
Yes.
Wait. Hold on. Josh, hold on. Wait. Fill this out first. What was that?
So I got off social media.
Yeah.
I because I was like, it's just mentally, I was like, this is not good. It's taking a lot of energy. I can't tell you how many times I was looking at my phone, mindlessly scrolling or convincing myself I had to post for my career, and I missed something my daughter's doing, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. Yeah. So I have someone who runs my social media now, my friend Brian, who has a haircut like Lancelot from the 15th century. So we call him Lancelot. So Josh knows him.
Got it. He's like the.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious if you felt it was better to filter out the negatives, or if you felt that the positives were almost kind of.
So I think so.
You know.
Wait. So you're saying what was better about getting off it? Losing the positive or losing the negative?
Yeah. I was curious about that aspect.
Well, for me, you know what's actually happened. What I've realized is getting off social media is that, everyone goes towards the negative comments, how they affect you in a negative way,
yes.
and all that. But the positive comments affect you, I think, in a negative way as well, because you're getting this kind of grandiose feeling about yourself, which I think is okay, can be used for good, but it was throwing off my equilibrium, my homeostasis of who I wanted to be so too much. It was like mood swings. So now what I've noticed is the positive reinforcement I get, like that I used to get on social media, I get it in real life now, like by having a good gym workout and somebody being like, hey man, I see you're really putting in work there. Or, just today I got, I was walking outside the gym and somebody was like, dude, you really lost a lot of weight. Congrats. And it's like to feel that physically, as opposed to someone saying that who I don't know, I'm not in their physical space. It's got a way different feeling, a more powerful feeling. And it kind of made me feel, because what my mind would do subconsciously is somebody would say something nice to me on social media. Oh, I like your comedy or whatever it is. Great. My then mind, for some reason, I don't know why, would start looking into more comments. Where's the negative ones?
Yeah,
where's the hate? And so I've gotten away from that. So now you realize too, in the physical realm, right? In the physical space that we live in, not the social media space. Oh, it happens, but it is so rare for someone to say something negative to you, to your face.
Not just negative, awful. They don't say awful things to people's face.
It is so rare. It almost never happens. Where on social media, it is happening all day, every day. So I kind of feel better about who I am as a person because I'm off the social media. So I would say that losing the negative comments has helped me in a more impactful way. But truly, I would not have been able to stay. I've been on the intermittent fasting and no social media for 8 months now, and I have never stayed. I would dream for the last 10 years, call it, about being 210 pounds because I was 250, sometimes 260. And I'd be like, I would hate myself. And because people would always be like, Chris, you look like you're in great shape. But I'd be like, no. If I took my shirt off, I have fat nipples, I would look horrible. And I would be like, but now, even with my shirt off, sometimes people are like, oh, wow, dude, you're really putting in the work. And I kind of finally don't feel like a fraud. I feel like I match what I say. But the reason is, I really believe, is because I got off social media. To me, it really, truly, and again, it's just my opinion, it really is poison. It is cigarettes for your brain, that stuff. And I don't like it at all. And I'm so happy to be off it. Even if it costs me ticket sales and whatever, I was okay with that. Because I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
There you go, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys.
I thought you were hanging yourself from a tree branch. I heard those birds.
Was your 12-year-old son said that he saw this?
He saw what it was doing to us, and he was right, man.
Cigarettes are the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
I believe we will look at screens the way we looked at cigarettes 50 years ago.
I agree 100% with you. I don't believe that I need to be connected to every single person in the world.
In this way, especially if it were a healthy interaction, that's one thing. It's not.
My rule with myself now, just to say it, my rule is, if I'm not in your physical space or I don't know you as a family or friend, I don't care or value your opinion of me at all. And I, in turn, if I don't know who you are, like, I don't know Joe Biden. I don't know Donald Trump. I know what they put out on the media, whatever. So I'm not going to give 1 second of my day to them. If I met those people in the physical realm, I could have a different opinion, but I don't know them at all. So I don't give it. I think that the people who sit there and make it their prerogative to be like, to kind of get involved, anybody. I'm like, dude, you don't know them at all. They're putting out a very manufactured version of themselves. Like, it's psychotic to me.
And the press is distorting and lying.
Yeah,
I don't. You can't trust any of that stuff. I don't do it. Yeah, you don't care about anybody unless they're in Radio City Music Hall. Then we have to stand and applaud if Chris comes out on the stage.
You better.
Then he cares.
You better. I'll fucking blow my head off on stage. Then you can have all my Losartan, you selfish fucks.
So, Caden, what's up?
Hi. So I take pantoprazole, magnesium every single day as soon as I wake up. It's the first thing I do. And I still puke every single day and get wicked heartburn. What can I do?
You need to stop smoking weed.
No.
Yes. Because
I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 11, though.
The weed causes this hyperemesis thing that doesn't respond to any of the medication, and you keep vomiting. You've had the big workup. You don't have gallbladder disease. You have esophagitis because you're vomiting. Weed does this. It just does it. That's the way it is.
Edibles as well? Any type of marijuana?
Any cannabis,
No, just weed.
No, any cannabis source will keep the vomiting going. Now, I have talked to people who have figured out ways to sort of, they go off it for a while, then they go back on a bit, and then the vomiting comes back, they kick out again. Mm-hmm. But it is the weed, and it's really common.
I never knew that.
Yep, hyperemesis, cannabis hyperemesis, my friend. You're not going to get better without it. And my daughter had it, and she's also severely addicted. We didn't know, and now she's got a year and a half sobriety. Hasn't missed a meeting since she first sober day.
You sent her to sobriety for weed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Because it's the dabbing and this high concentration stuff. For some people, it gets out of control.
Okay, that's good to know.
But the hyperemesis was sort of, and she was seeing doctors and medicines and all this stuff, and I was like, I think. So I didn't know she was doing it that much, and now she has no symptoms.
Good,
not zero, and is sort of really concerned that we aren't talking more honestly about what's happening to people as a result of the high concentration of the weed. It's really it's a new drug. It's not when I was in high school. Right, that's for sure. Let's see here. Let's do some videos. Let's do some TikToks and kind of clear our palate a little bit with that. Yeah. Chris wants to do some videos.
I want to do some TikToks. Man. Let's get Matt Rife up there. Let's get Dylan Mulvaney up there. Let's get some.
It's a hyena.
Most powerful bite in the animal kingdom.
Wow.
Yep. If that hyena chose to, that would bite his hand clean off. And then you know how maybe hyenas smoke too much weed. You know how they consume food? They eat it
and then vomit.
They vomit and then they eat their own vomit.
Well, my dog does that all the time. Yeah. So, and my cat does it too.
Because they're like the garbage men. Like they'll eat the bone. They'll eat the shit that other animals won't eat.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh, and there's Kenny Sebastian right there who canceled.
There he is.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I just want to get laid. Is there anybody real? Anybody real?
I love this guy.
I just want to get laid.
He's getting right to it.
I mean, that's true though. That is a valid question for him. Is there anybody real anymore? I mean,
out there in that world, in the internet space, I mean, he's got a point. I don't know what that would be like to be trying to hook up with people on.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
35 years.
35 years.
Yeah.
And now,
40 years.
35 years. And because you've clearly chose the right woman, do you ever feel like, man, there was so much more sexual exploration I didn't do? Or do you feel like actually at 35 years, it's like this was not, I know that you think it was worth it, but it was like, like the fulfillment of the 35-year marriage negates the, I wish I explored sexually.
I knew when I was in my 20s, I had to go fuck around and be an asshole.
Right.
And I did it. And I did it until it started to not be fun and not be, I just didn't feel good for my soul. And I had this person, we were dating on and off at that point. I'm like, this is what I want. What am I doing?
Right.
And so that was that.
But you chose the right.
But I have no patience. I have no patience with people in their 40s and 50s going, I didn't do it in my 20s, so now I have to do it. I'm having a midlife crisis. Zero patience. You made your bet. You put your bet down. You have a family now. That's it.
You got to do it.
If you wanted to fuck around when you're 22.
Right.
Fine. No problem. Go crazy. But at 45 and you're hurting other people because of that urge.
Yeah.
You don't
get a divorce then. Yeah.
Get a divorce or don't do it. Just you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, if you're super unhappy in the relationship, I get it. You got to do something. But I just think people need to do their thing when they're young.
What is your feeling of society today? How most couples, I mean, there's a higher chance that your daughters will get divorced. Higher chance our age will, because we grew up in that. Do you think that it's always best to stay for the kids, or do you?
To a certain point.
Right.
To a certain point. I mean, kids actually perceive family units more even than relationships. And when the family fractures, they feel fractured, and they can't help but feel responsible for it. Unlovable. Something about me wasn't enough.
Right.
It just is how it works. Abandonment. All the stuff we've been talking about. And, you don't want to be in a domestic abuse or violence situation,
Right.
and that. But if you're not fully fulfilled, I mean, I'm flashing on this woman that used to do my makeup, and she was telling me that she went home to her like 5 or 7 year old kid, a boy, and said, told him she was getting a divorce. And she's expressing, I'm really unhappy, and don't you want me to be happy? And he goes, yeah, I want you to be happy, but don't you want me to be happy? This makes me unhappy. No matter what you say, this hurts me badly. 7-year-old says this.
Right.
And she went on with the divorce anyway.
Right.
And you've got to understand, of course, there are people that get through divorces that get unscathed, but it usually leaves a mark. It's actually considered, we have these scales of adverse childhood experiences now, ACE scores. It is on the scale.
Well, because this is not one of those situations where it's like my friend. This happened to my friend, but it's really me. Truly, I have a friend right now, and that's why I brought it up because he loves you, and I'm just thinking to him now. He is, he's got kids, married to his wife. They have zero sex. Why don't we
take care of that when we focus on getting that helped, whatever's going on
But he said they've went to therapy, they've done it there. He's just not really sexually attracted to her in that way anymore. She still wants to have sex, but he's just like, I don't like, and he has not cheated. He's like, but I don't know what to do. I do not want to walk away from my kids, but he was like, I think he's 34, 35. He's like, I need to have sex with other women. Can I speak to her about opening up our relationship? Can she allow me to be with prostitutes? I was like, I feel like that's the slippery slopes.
It doesn't work. Yeah, people. I mean, even Jason Ellis. Do you know Jason?
Yeah,
he had this big open relationship with his wife, and I was like, oh, maybe there's somebody it works for. Now
didn't work.
Didn't work. Yeah, I just never see it works for a while, and then it doesn't.
Right. So a guy like him, what your advice is just work on.
I'd like to know more about what's wrong with their relationship.
He's just like he doesn't think she's the right person for him. He's like he's like I just every time she's around I get like angry that we are in this relationship. I was like, do you think it's? I was like you have kids though. I have kids. I was like, it's tough to have. You have little kids. I have little kids. It's like when your kids are not sleeping and my baby woke up at 4 a.m. It's like, of course you're going to be like, I don't want to fucking have sex with you. I'm
it's
exhausted.
hard to have a relationship. The clip that went around. My wife does this show once in a while. And a clip that went around of us. We're talking about this issue. How you're barreling through. You're just in survival mode. You're just trying to raise kids.
That's what he's in right now.
I don't know. It feels. Has something happened to her physical body?
No, she looks good. To me.
He needs to figure out. Maybe he needs to go to therapy by himself.
Yeah,
not in couples therapy, and figure out what the fuck's going on.
What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, and then if he has to go, he has to go. But maybe stick it out as long as possible for the kids.
Right. Yeah.
They will oblige everyone by reenacting the past.
Right.
So
True.
All right.
That was about my friend, not me.
More TikTok.
For my friend Sharon.
Oh boy.
From Alabama.
Ooh.
How do you like me now, dog? Love it. Just got off work a while ago. Checking you out on take.
Oh, what is this, man? This is a cool guy. But you know what? He reminds me of the king. Where's the king been? Where has he
like a
been?
Skinny king.
Yeah, he's a skinny king.
Where's the king been?
Oh, this king got skinny?
No, this isn't actually the king. He just sort of reminds us of the king. Is the king still out there? Do we have any king videos?
We haven't seen any. We haven't had any follow-ups with him in a while.
Wow. When you think
he's no longer with us?
Oh boy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I like that this guy, is probably most likely I would assume sitting butt naked in his truck.
Yes.
But I like that he put his glasses on.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
there's
nice
something
touch.
classy about that.
Well, we wouldn't recognize him otherwise.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like that he's understanding that he needs his vision to be accurate.
I'm starting to worry about. He's probably like, certainly my peer age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I saw a comparison picture yesterday where they had Paul Rudd against Wilford Brimley. Wilford Brimley was 51 and Paul Rudd was 54 in the pictures. And Wilford Brimley looked like this.
Right.
And Paul Rudd looked younger than you and I.
Yeah, Paul.
At 54. I mean, he is younger than me, but he looked
they're
like
all
you.
on testosterone and HGH, right?
Probably something.
What is your thought on that, on testosterone?
I would love to take testosterone, but I can't because I have prostate cancer.
Okay, active prostate cancer right now.
I mean, I had an operation and everything,
right.
and I had.
If you didn't have prostate cancer, you would take testosterone.
100%.
Do you think it's safe for for like because I'm thinking about taking it, but my testosterone is normal.
You did steroids, yes?
When I was 18, 1 cycle, maybe 2.
Okay.
2 cycles of Winstrol. It was Lil Winnie. Winnie the Pooh.
I've been in gyms my whole life.
Yeah.
So you did it for a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was 18, 19.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so there may even be some residual stuff from that. I mean, if you
20 years ago,
sometimes the testes can't keep up. They kind of. I've seen people have sort of decline in testosterone production. The bottom line I'm saying is, don't take so much testosterone that your levels are 1500 or 2000. Try to get high normal levels, and then I'm all for it.
Is it true though that it is when you start taking testosterone, if you go high normal, does it act as a contraceptive as well?
Probably not in those doses.
Got it.
It can affect fertility, but probably not a reliable.
Will lose your hair and have to give blood and all that?
What do you mean give blood?
Like because you develop clotting with testosterone, or that's
if you're on physiological doses, you may lose hair because if you have that in your family and your higher dose of testosterone is sustained, that's hair loss. But I don't know. You don't look like you're going to be dealing with that.
So you don't think it's actually safe to take? Just a little.
You're asking a personal decision.
Yes.
I do, and I don't think we use it enough in women. I think women need testosterone replacement as they get older, and it makes a huge difference for them in terms of their constitution and their bone density and so many things, mood, just everything. I wonder when you told me about your friend, is the wife shut down in some way? Does she need some hormones?
That I don't know.
That's another sort of feature that fucks up relationships. But so Chris is going to go out here this afternoon to get some testosterone somewhere. Where should they go for tea in this town?
What about HGH?
No, HGH, I'm a little more concerned about that.
But test is a little test is okay.
To restore normal physiology as you age. I'm in favor of thyroid replacement if your thyroid is low. I'm in favor of estrogen replacement and testosterone replacement when your ovaries shut down. Why do we leave men out of this equation?
Right.
Why?
Right.
We get to go down. Yeah. Now, I've had a weird thing where I get my testosterone checked all the time. I don't know why. The urologist always does it. I really don't know why he's watching it, but mine get very high.
Testosterone's getting high.
Yeah, I mean it fluctuates a bit, but it's high enough that I thought to myself, boy, I probably wouldn't be taking testosterone if it were like this high.
Right.
So anyway, gotta get it checked, make sure it's in the right zone.
And check that prostate, folks.
Yes. Do you have any of that in your family?
I don't. But I got mine checked because I got chlamydia about 4 or 5 times. So my urologist was like, I just want to check, make sure that it's not something else
right.
So, but it was good.
So, there's a slight incidence. You had prostatitis probably with the chlamydia.
That's
too.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
this was years ago.
But there is some maybe some increased risk of prostate cancer with that stuff, maybe, but definitely first degree relatives if you have anybody.
Yeah, we don't have it. And
African American man, you have to get blood tested at 50 when black guys present with prostate cancer, it's a more advanced usually when they present and more aggressive. So you just got to be on it. Yeah. On it. It's highly treatable.
Yes.
So, hey, good times. Here's the king. Oh, my God.
The king is back.
Woo!
More my queens above 18. I have got a very special request going out.
Christina
This
P.
video is the very, very, very request. Very special. It's going out to a queen above 18. She just turned 50 years old.
Where is he?
And she had a good game in golf.
What?
Par 4.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. That. Good
Poor
morning,
Strokes.
my queens above 18.
Oh my God.
Come on, open them eyes up. I got your breakfast ready.
Oh yeah.
Coffee's on. Breakfast is on. Come on. You got to go to work.
You're ready for that guy, Chris, aren't you?
There you
It's ready,
go.
dude.
Yeah.
You are so beautiful.
It's not Nadav.
I just love
It's
you.
Nadav in 20 years.
You are gorgeous.
It's Nadav next year.
Seriously.
All right.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
No, he definitely bangs girls off this, right? I mean, do you think the king has gotten women from this?
I don't know if he actually gets people in the flesh, but he likes younger women, like young.
But he does specifically say above 18.
I understand because he got in trouble.
Ah, okay.
You know, so because he was dabbling with some younger folks.
Yeah,
I
would
imagine.
like to hope that he's gotten some ladies off.
Well,
of
he
this.
certainly gets stuff. Well, hey, by the way, I'm assuming he gets sort of exchanges of pictures and things like that, some sort of internet exchange. I'm sure he gets that. How come no one has ever sent us what they've ever done with King.
Because that's a betrayal. That's you don't
betray the king.
I mean, yeah, you never betray the king. You aim at the king, you best not miss.
Wait a minute. You're asking why people haven't sent us the tits that he wanted to see?
No, no. Whatever he's doing in that relationship. Look, I'm thinking of.
Why isn't anyone sending us nudes?
They sent us Ed Asner, right? That was just
but that was just a well. That was just a well of videos of Sweet Leo and Ed Asner.
But I'm guessing that there's something like that hiding somewhere with the king, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, but it would be all private messages, right? So it's like
so the Ed Asner thing wasn't private; it got somehow public.
No, that was posted on xvideos.com.
No, I get it, but don't you think? I guess I wouldn't trust people online not to do that to the king. Let's put it that way.
Well, I would like to trust that. Well, it'd be also a betrayal of trust if you see any type of DMs and stuff that are screenshot and sent to us. Like, I don't think we would.
Oh, for sure, Okay, but I don't know.
We're a moral bunch here at your mom's house.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying.
You are.
Yes, we are. We have certain limits. Yes. No, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I just am wrong. That's all. So it's fine. So
it happens.
I'm sus.
Yes.
And Cap.
Yes.
And right. Anybody know?
You're 1 for 2.
Facts.
1 for 2 on
Facts.
That one. Okay.
So I'm trying to get my language right.
Come on now.
All right, Chris, we've sort of exceeded our time here. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. That's been great. I mean, I'm glad we got to spend some time, really get to know you a little bit. It's been nice. I want to come see you in the city when you're out there. When is it again? On
September 23rd.
I want to see that.
Bring some TRT for me.
Well, I don't have a license to practice in New York.
Oh, we'll get it. My dad knows a guy.
So, and I want to be on your sitcom about your dad.
100%. And you come do my podcast, Chrissy Chaos.
Oh, done.
That's what we'll do.
Do you guys do it live or by Zoom or?
No. Fuck Zoom. I don't.
And where do you do it?
I need you in the flesh.
Where?
New York.
Downtown. In Staten Island. Oh, downtown.
No, downtown. Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, Soho, baby.
Oh, love it. It's beautiful.
Love it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here again. Where should we send people? Hey, babe.
Yep.
Chrissy Chaos. And,
Vice show, the Supermax from Red show on Vice, and chrisdcomedy.com, all socials, website. That's it.
And when is the Radio City? Because that's the one I'd like to try to go to.
Radio City is September 22nd. That's sold out, but I always got tickets for Dr. Drew.
Thank you.
And September 23rd is the theater at Madison Square Garden.
I love things when people dream of doing something and then they do it, and it's something that's that scale. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that is.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, my friend. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
All conversations and information exchanged during participation in the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.